It's the gunfight at the OK Corral, 1957, directed by John Sturges and starring Burt Lancaster as Wyatt Earp. Kirk Douglas plays Doc Holliday. Joe Van Fleet plays Kay, Holliday's girlfriend. Laura Bembo plays a character that becomes an interest, a romantic interest for Wyatt. And we also see Dennis Hopper, and it's one of his early roles, a very early role. He plays one of the Clanton boys, and we've got Frank Phelan, who's a deputy, played by Cotton. Frank Phelan plays Cotton Wilson, and Lyle Betger plays Ike Clanton, and John Ireland is Johnny Ringo, who's part of Clanton's gang. So Rhonda Fleming plays Laura Dembo, Wyatt Earp's romantic interest. And then some minor roles for the Earp brothers: Virgil, played by John Hudson, and Morgan, played by DeForest Kelley. You may remember him from Star Trek. And a very brief appearance from Lee Van Cleef, who bites the dust early on, courtesy of Holiday. So this is a tale based on a true story about the infamous showdown in Tombstone at the OK Corral between the Earp brothers and Holiday and the Clantons. It gets off to a slow start, and we get a feel of the type of characters. Lancaster, of course, plays Earp. He's a frontier lawman, runs a tight ship, and is intent on cleaning up troublesome towns and troublesome outlaws. Holiday, well, he's got a murkier past. Previously a dentist, has now become a bit of a gunslinger, and makes his money by playing poker very well, I might add. And he has in tow with him Kate, played excellently by Joe Van Fleet, who's a little bit of a tart, but she has a great heart. And an early incident involving Holiday leads to Earp intervening to save him, and Holiday flees town with Kate. And of course, Holiday suffers from TB, which is a very debilitating disease. We then see later in Dodge City, and this is where Wyatt comes across his deputy, Bassett, who informs him that Dot and Kate have arrived in town, and Wyatt has to lay the law down to Holiday about the use of guns in the town, and also warns him about his behaviour. Here, Wyatt meets Laura Dembo, played by Rhonda Fleming, who's a professional poker player, and again he needs to intervene to prevent her from working, based on the assumption that women gambling equals trouble. And she abides by this, and an affection develops between the two. Anyway, what then follows is Douglas's character's developed. He has a sort of a strange love-hate relationship with Kate. Needs her when she's around, but is quick to fly off the handle, and she actually decides to seek out Johnny Ringo as a boyfriend, and that really riles up Dot Holiday, who then comes into town to try and get her back. but refuses a gunfight, remembering Wyatt's warning about using guns. This all leads then to the showdown at Tombstone, where Wyatt Earp refuses the opportunity of marriage, delaying it, which disappoints Bembo tremendously, as he's loyal to his brother, who's the sheriff in Tombstone, and he's called to go there to seek assistance due to a conflab, and it's there that they encounter the clash with the Clanton gang, following an incident where Billy, played by Hopper, gets drunk as a skunk and gets himself into a position where harm could come of him. And although Wyatt delivers Billy back home, inevitably the confrontation happens, and the final 10 minutes we witness the gunfight. It's not a bad movie. I've seen better westerns though. Douglas is great, and Lancaster, of course, very strong as well. This is not in my top 10 for 1957. It comes in at number 14. Sturges' direction is first class, and I would recommend it to any Western fans, particularly the performances of Joe Van Fleet, Lancaster and Douglas. Okay, Gunfight at the OK Corral.